Hey, so I want to revisit something that I talked about fairly recently. I talked about the dangers of taking on other people's battles. And listen, I guess sometimes when I say things, people are trying to figure out who I'm talking about or what situation I'm referring to. So as a rule of thumb, just assume I'm talking about everybody. Okay? That way, that'll take the guesswork out of it and we can just focus on the message that's being conveyed. Okay? Because I'm talking about real life. I'm talking about social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I'm talking about black people, white people. I'm talking about all of y'all, okay? So, the reason I'm saying this is because I've seen it happen over and over again. I've seen people try to intervene in situations and end up taking on more than what they can handle. Okay? I've seen it particularly on social media where you'll see people get into these back and forths. I mentioned the situation on my other channel about James Charles, Tati Westbrook, and Jeffree Star, and how Jeffree Star got in the middle thinking he was defending Tati Westbrook, only to realize he didn't know the full story, and he ended up ultimately looking like the bad guy and really had to do a lot of disaster recovery, right, to back out of that situation, when if he had just minded his business, he wouldn't have taken on all of that negativity. I've seen it play out in other situations across social media where people will see something. You know, you see people going back and forth, or you see people post something and you jump in and everyone gets over the original post. You know, all the videos go down, all of the social media posts go down, but you've now created an army of people who don't like you, and they make it their mission to attack you every day. And what happens is that over time, that can be very damaging to a brand. Okay? And some of you don't realize it, but some of you have the opportunity to create a brand if you wouldn't constantly be so distracted by these flare-ups, these arguments, these disagreements. If you learned when not to respond and when not to intervene, if you learned when to mind your business, you actually would have an opportunity. All right? You'd have an opportunity. Even on your job, you got to think about it, y'all. Who does it benefit for black women to constantly put ourselves in situations where we're putting the superhero cape on and we're flying in to try to save the day? When you're on your job and people are constantly putting a battery in your back because they feel like you're the person who should speak out against this issue or that issue, you speak out and everyone gets over the original problem. But guess what people don't get over? They don't get over the distaste they felt anytime they felt like you were calling out something. So the people who were originally mad, oh, they're cool. They're able to work together. They're able to progress in their career. You're stuck in an entry-level position for 15 or 20 years because you don't realize that you burned bridges simply by stepping into situations that really didn't involve you. Some of you are doing the same thing on social media, okay? And when I say some of you, I'm not necessarily talking about, people who are observers or people who comment in chats or in comment sections. Some of you actually have an opportunity to build something, right? But maybe you've had your channel for 6 years and it's never grown beyond a certain point because over the years, there's an army of people who have been able to chip away at your image and at your support because of these constant flare-ups. Apply it to social media, apply it to your real life, and please remember and take note. If I say something and you think I'm talking about you or you think I'm talking about someone else, to be safe, assume that I'm talking about all of you. I'm talking about all y'all, because I feel like I've tried to be nice in situations where it hasn't been reciprocated. Okay? So if you assume that I'm talking about all y'all, I'm talking about everyone, then maybe your takeaway won't be, "Ooh, who is she talking about?" or "Who is she subbing now?" Your takeaway will be, how have I intervened in situations that weren't my business to my detriment? Because let me tell you something. A lot of times it does not benefit you. It doesn't benefit you to step into stuff that doesn't involve you. Now, if it's your family members or your kids, elderly or disabled people, then yes, of course you step in to defend them. But I'm talking about if it's your job or somewhere else where you're making money or you have the opportunity to make money. If it's a situation where you have an audience and you have the potential to build a brand, don't involve yourself in any situation that isn't going to be beneficial to your career or that won't be beneficial to your brand. All right?